Alrighty, welcome back, and I have something. I thought of something to do here. I'm about to watch WandaVision episode 7, but before I do, I thought to myself, hey, you know what would be kind of interesting, at least for me, maybe even for you guys, is to see where I'm at in the right now theory wise as to what's going to happen in WandaVision, because this is a show where every single episode it seems to knock a few of my theories out to the side and just butchers them, and then it creates these new theories in their place, and I'm a little interested as to see how many of my theories right now are gonna get killed or will survive to see another day. So here we are, WandaVision theories going forward. Now, what do we have so far? Well, the first theory I have right now is the fact that Wanda subconsciously built the hex. It isn't something that she created consciously. I think we have that pretty much firmed and locked in, but some people are saying that maybe it wasn't Wanda herself that made the hex. Maybe it was the third party, the entity that we don't know of just yet helped her make the hex, or maybe even instructed her how to make the hex. And we know that Wanda herself doesn't really know how this came to be. Through her grief, she went to pick up Vision and she started building this, she found this little tiny town in the middle of nowhere that she saw, okay, you know what? This could be my special little place. And henceforth, that's how we got the hex. That's just a theory so far. But you know what? That's not even the biggest theory so far. Let's move on to the second one. The second one is Vision was repaired by Wanda, not recreated. I have heard some theories where we're trying to, people are saying that Vision was just reconstructed by Wanda. She found him in pieces and created a new Vision from those parts. I think it's basically like how she did with the broken wall. There's a broken wall with pieces all over the ground, and all she did was put them back. Henceforth, that's how I think Vision came to be. Therefore, Wanda is having dead robot sex, but technically robots aren't alive, so I don't know, wherever you want to put that line. It's either she's having sex with a robot or she's having sex with a dead robot. Either way, she's having sex with a robot. Kinky. Now here's the third one. The engineer won't be special here. And here being WandaVision, this engineer is being prompted up by all of the MCU fans, all of the comic book fans who know of the MCU and who know the comic book lore as someone who's going to be special, someone who's going to be amazing for the show and is going to be bringing all these extra things and juiciness. As someone who is a casual MCU fan who likes WandaVision, but I mean, I'm not hooked on the engineer being someone special. Yes, I get it. In the past 2 episodes, the engineer has been brought up a couple of times. But that doesn't really mean anything to me. It just kind of means hey, this person is going to help our ragtag group to enter the hex without being another Wanda puppet. I think that's all the engineer's role is ever going to be. It's not going to be anything special. I will add this. Maybe it will be a setup for a future MCU movie. What do I mean by that? Well, quite simple, really. That character in WandaVision isn't going to be anything special, but that character is going to be used in another MCU movie that will have some significant usage. He won't be a new hero, I believe. Maybe. He won't be a new hero, but he will be a new Happy. He will be a new, I don't know, a minor character that's for the laughs and just help us alleviate some of the tension that the MCU may have in the future movies. And I think that is his role of the engineer. And I think that's the extent of it. Theory number 4. The entity lurking in the shadows is finally going to be making an appearance this episode. At least we'll know for sure, 100% sure, that there is at least someone in the background controlling or at least manipulating Wanda in one way or another. And therefore, let's move on to my 5th theory. My 5th theory is kind of simple. The commercials that we see on the WandaVision side of things, I think that if there is a big bad, if there is someone lurking in the shadows, I think that's how they're trying to subliminally control Wanda and tweak her a little bit. Kind of a ticking time bomb, hey, you're about to explode. Hey, wipe away all your problems. Or hey, I'm gonna suck your magic. All these that sounded wrong. All these little commercials, I think there's gonna be a bigger plot to them. And finally, let's move on to my sixth theory. I think the sword director dude is gonna do something really stupid, and he's gonna basically create the villain known as Wanda. He is gonna be the catalyst that just knocks her over the edge. I do think that Wanda has finally realized that she's standing on the edge and she's trying to back away, but unfortunately her efforts to back away from the edge is just it's basically pushing her more towards the edge of being just a full-blown villain to the entire world, and I don't know how it's gonna all end, but I do think, well, at least right now, the theory is that the sword director dude, I don't know his name, he's gonna do something stupid, and it's gonna push Wanda over the edge, and boom, we have the villain known as Wanda. So those are my theories so far. Before I've watched episode 7, those are my theories so far. But again, each episode of WandaVision just tries to, it knocks away some of my theories before, and it just brings up new ones, new ideas as to where the story can go. I don't know if it's going to stick the landing, but let's enjoy the ride while we can. See you on the other side. Damn it! Alrighty, so I just finished watching WandaVision episode 7. And some theories were disproven once again, and other theories were confirmed. And now we have some new theories for episode 8, in which case I will explain it in episode 8 once I have my thoughts put together more as to what happened in episode 7, which is fucking insane. Alright, quick heads up. If you guys don't want to know about spoilers, here it is. No spoilers, very quickly. Episode 7 was, for the most part, kind of, it was okay. I didn't really find this episode all that spectacular. It was pretty comical for the most part. But that's all it was, really. And I don't know, that isn't strong enough for me to get hooked. But that ending really just made up for this entire episode being just kind of, it's okay. It's there. It's funny. It is what it is. And when that ending happened, I was like, oh, fuck me. Really? That's how you're gonna end this fucking episode? No. No. You can't just end... Whatever. It ended. You know what? Let's go back to the theories that I had and just jot down what got taken down, what didn't. But before we do that, let's say this upright. From here on, it's spoilers time, alright? So if you don't want to listen to what happened in episode 7 of WandaVision, stop right here. Thank you for coming. See you next time. But for those who want to know more about the spoilers as to what theories got knocked down, what theories got brought up, and what theories have been confirmed, watch onward. Let's go. Alright, so Wanda subconsciously built the hex. That's still kind of up in the air. I still kind of believe that she did do this subconsciously in the beginning, at least. In the beginning, this is what happened, most likely. And then Agatha, who we found out is indeed Agnes, she came in afterwards to cause trouble. I don't know how much she has to do with the start of the hex, but she definitely did come into play once the hex was already built. So where does her involvement begin? Right now, episode 7 kind of leads us to believe that it started in episode 1 on WandaVision. Like, her first appearance was her first involvement in the hex. But whatever. Let's move on to the theory that got basically knocked apart. Okay, look. I'm still kind of holding my breath that this is a vision that was just reconstructed. But without a fucking doubt, this vision is kind of feeling like a new vision, when he himself has said, this doesn't feel like it happened to me, it feels like it happened to someone else who just looks like me. And that kind of does lean towards this being a completely new vision that is just exist within the boundaries of the hex, not something that can exist outside of it. So I guess this theory of mine has been firmly just castrated and just left to the dirt, and it's okay. It is what it is. I was still kind of hoping that Wanda, in a weird way, did indeed have dead robot sex, but maybe, just maybe, it was just regular old robot sex that she created herself for the hex. We know, whatever. Moving on. The engineer was not special here. That has been confirmed. I was right about that. Everybody was freaking building this up, saying, oh, this engineer has to be something special. It has to be someone we know. It has to be blah, 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 blah. Because they hinted at it a couple times in the previous episodes. And I'm like, I don't give a fucking damn about this engineer. If it turns out that it is someone special, cool. But I don't think it has to be someone special. What I do think is the second part of this theory possibly coming into play in the future MCU. Because this engineer... Well, then again, we didn't really meet the specific engineer that Monica was talking about. We met the team that brought the damn thing. So I guess it's still up in the air, but for sure, to me at least, it's been confirmed that this engineer isn't exactly special to WandaVision, and most likely will be maybe taking part in future MCU movies, especially now that Monica apparently has fucking superpowers. Okay, so Monica has superpowers now. Monica has superpowers. If you heard my Xbox go off, it's because I left it on. I just recently, just barely finished WandaVision, and here I am. I'll talk about Monica with the superpowers in the future. Not right now. It's just, I still think it's kind of stupid, but it is what it is. The entity lurking in the background finally, motherfucking finally made an appearance. Or at least made her identity reveal. And it's exactly what people were thinking. Like, okay, I already said it before in the first theory. It's Agatha. Agatha has been confirmed that she is the one who's lurking in the background, making all this chaos, making Wanda lose control, making Vision doubt her, pitting Vision against her, doing all these things like where Wanda feels like she's not safe in her own world, making her once again lose control, making that commercial, Your Magic, seem much more realistic and much more honest. And I'll get to what I mean about the commercials in the future in a moment. So we finally met her. The big bad is Agatha, and I wonder where it's gonna go here. Is this gonna be the way for Wanda to redeem herself? Like, hey, it wasn't me, it was Agatha. Agatha is the one that's doing all this chaos. I'm just little old Wanda casually trapping X amount of people in this town to obey my will. But it's okay, because I didn't hurt anybody. I mean, technically she didn't, so I guess it is a workaround. This is a way for them to get out of it. If this WandaVision ends with Agatha being the big bad and Wanda getting out of this scot-free, it's a bit of a disappointment for me because I really wanted Wanda to be the big bad just for it to completely fall apart. It can still happen, by the way. We'll get to my sixth theory. I'll talk about that later. But all in all, Agatha came up. She revealed herself. What did she do to the twins? I don't know what she did to the twins. Most likely, those twins are no longer present or they're being sucked dry, just like the commercial said. Let's move on. Now, this is the fifth theory, the one with the commercials. This isn't concrete, which is why I didn't highlight it green like the others one. The other ones for sure, they're confirmed. Like, that happened. This one is still up to debate. Yes, the Your Magic commercial is literally most likely what's happening now. Now that we know that the twins have disappeared, Agatha is a sorcerer, has some type of magic alongside Wanda, can do all these crazy things, somehow has a way to control Pietro, which is still kind of odd. Like, okay, so she's the one who conjured up Pietro, but who is the guy playing Pietro? That's kind of still up to grabs. I personally think Pietro is some nobody who Agatha just kind of grabbed, dressed up as like Quicksilver to try to convince Wanda that that's Quicksilver. It's like, hey, he's the closest thing I got to that looks like your brother. It is what it is. You still fell for it for a while, so you know, hats off to me, right? Anyways, the commercial still isn't concrete. I still think that Agatha was using those commercials to subliminally, there you go, to subliminally control Wanda, kind of hint as to where Wanda should take things, how Like, hey, Wanda, like, remember these bad things? Like, oh, yeah, they were pretty bad, huh, Wanda? Doesn't it make you mad, Wanda? Doesn't it want you to to take control of your life, Wanda? Hey, you know what, Wanda, just wipe it away. Just wipe it away, Wanda. It's okay, Wanda, just wipe it away. You can do that, right, Wanda? You have your magic, Wanda. Yeah, your magic, Wanda, is amazing. Use all your power to just unleash your magic. Unleash your magic. Oh, you can't do it, Wanda? Come on, try a little harder, Wanda. Try a little harder. Like, you can do it, Wanda. It's your magic. And other saying, wow, Agatha's just like, oh, like, yes. So I do think right now those twins are being held up. She's sucking them dry. She is what's causing this world to fall apart. Wanda can't control it because she's no longer in control. Well, at least not for the most part. I think Agatha is taking control, and then she's enjoying and basking in the power that Wanda held at one point, but she is now taking control. As to whether or not Agatha is going to become Mephisto or reveal herself to be Mephisto, who knows at this point? I mean, I know it happens in the comics, and that Agatha apparently reveals herself to be a Mephisto on top of whatever. I think it's one too many revelations. It's gonna be kind of weird. It could very well be that at the end of WandaVision, Agatha reveals like, haha, I'm not just an evil witch, I'm also Mephisto. It was like, I don't know, it might be too much. I think right now that they're just going to keep Agatha as a big bad, and Wanda's going to take her down in the end with Vision, maybe. It is what it is. But here's my other thing. Look, this theory, the sixth one, hasn't been knocked down yet. It's hanging by a thread, like a very loose thread, I will admit. But I still think the sword director dude is going to do something really, really, really fucking stupid. And it's gonna push Wanda over the edge. Like, it's gonna compound on her. Like, the whole thing with Agatha just trying to take her over. The sword people trying to dominate over, like, just kind of take her out. She's gonna explode. And she's gonna wipe them out and take her and push back Agatha as much as she can. And it's gonna be a big battle between her and Agatha. And Wanda's gonna come out looking like the bad guy. And the whole world doesn't know that she's having this, like, fisticuffs with Agatha, because Agatha's not going to try to reveal herself to everybody. Because right now, I think Agatha knows that Wanda looks like the bad guy. So her revealing herself would do her no good. So I think it's going to be kind of interesting where I think, yes, Wanda's going to become the bad guy, and she is going to do some harm to the sword people, which is just going to make her look even worse than just trapping a bunch of people. Because people can rationalize over the hex. Like, hey, she did something awful with the hex, but she didn't hurt anybody. She didn't cause any physical harm, but she did physically harm these, these officials trying to free these people in this town. So that's just going to paint us in a bad light. Along with Agatha not really showing herself and just kind of letting Wanda take all this blame, it's gonna be hell. And I think Agatha in the end is going to be defeated, but I don't think she's going to be defeated for very long. It's just going to be she underestimated just how much power Wanda has, and she's going to have to fall back until she can recover more magic to take her on completely, which is going to be kind of cool. And I do hope it kind of goes down that way, but that's another theory that I have. So again, the sixth theory still hasn't been debunked completely, but it is kind of teetering towards being lost. Who knows? But that's just my thoughts, guys. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think of WandaVision so far? Has this episode just completely confirmed that WandaVision is one of the best TV shows so far? Or maybe you kind of hate it? Hey, it's possible. I have some friends who don't really like WandaVision. At least they don't think it's as great as many people are touting it to be. I personally like it, but maybe that's just me. Tell me in the comments below, and I'll see you next time you check in at the lobby. Peace.